going on there? Guys, we back with another one. And today we got to talk about Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes' interview with Mike Epps, talking about the issue with Shannon Sharpe. And Mike Epps, I want to applaud him for the way that he handled these questions, the way he talked about what was going on. And he did say he was taken aback that Shannon got so mad, but he did recognize some of the error in what he was saying. And so we've seen Shannon Sharpe come out. So I believe someone asked him when he was at some event, why wouldn't he have Mike Epps on the show? And he said he doesn't want to set the precedent for having someone on the show when they disrespect him. I mean, you saw Eddie Griffin come on the stage and say something about Shannon shortly thereafter. So I understand that, because that would get old fast. Somebody diss me and they come on, it would start to look like you were planning this or that you're in on it, and you just kind of bringing guys in with clickbait. And that's not what Shannon wants to do. But all the smoke saw that opportunity and that algorithm, and they definitely had Mike Epps in. You know, and Mike Epps got things going on. It's not like out of left field that you would bring Mike Epps on. But some of Steven Jackson's comments during this interview, after Mike Epps explains himself, has been drawing some mixed reactions from around the internet, man. We're going to take a listen to what Mike Epps said, how eloquently he put it, and then we're going to listen to what Steven Jackson says that he would have done differently than Mike Epps. Let's peep it.
So I just didn't expect the brother to get so mad about it, you know. And then, like I said on the podcast, I said a lot of people have been talking about it. I mean, I seen it on Saturday Night Live. I seen a lot of Corey Holcomb, different ones. I just was wondering why, you know what I mean?
You got singled out.
And then, you know, he told me, he was like, you know what, Mike, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was because it was you. He said, because guess what?
I fuck with you.
These people out here, they'll damn near do what you tell them to do. So when he said that, I said, damn, you right, man. I didn't look at it that way at first. And it just brought some light to me, man. And, you know, I felt bad about it. And I wanted to meet up with him and personally look him in the face and tell him that I was sorry. Because I've been messing with people and talking about them since I was a kid. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, I hold my breath when I was a kid and say, I'm about to do it. And I'll talk about the bully. I'll talk about the dude that shoot everybody and all that, and say something to him that don't nobody say, man, look at them shoes and blah, and everybody be laughing. He be looking like, I'm finna kill you. You know, so that's my thing. That's what I do. I crack jokes.
Right.
On anybody.
Period. Right.
On myself.
Got to be able to laugh at yourself.
If I go on camera, if I'm doing stuff, that's what I told him too.
But if they jokes, why you gotta apologize if they jokes?
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, man, it wasn't Shucky Ducky telling the joke. It was Mike Epps that got a 5-season sitcom on Netflix. It was Mike Epps that got a movie out with Snoop right now. It was Mike Epps that got a special coming out on Netflix. It's Mike Epps that been in the business for 30 years. It's Mike Epps that, you know.
Name hold weight. Your name holds some weight.
Yeah, so you know, it was Mercedes-Benz versus Hyundai. You know what I mean? If Mercedes-Benz said something about me, I got to say something about what he said. You know, that's what happened, man. So we shook hands, we made cool. And one thing I wanted to show these kids.
There's another way to do it.
I wanted to show these kids that, guess what, no matter how I felt about him and how he felt about me, that guess what? This don't have to end in violence. And I'm not about to prove myself to nobody and mess what I worked so hard for to show somebody I'm a real nigga.
Nobody's too big to be talked about, though. You did the right thing, but everybody can be talked about.
I not talk about everybody.
Yeah,
I have talked about everybody. I'm serious. I mean, I talked about Shaq straight in his face. I done called him Shrek and all kind of. He just be laughing. I'm thinking that he gonna laugh too.
You only get mad like that when there's some truth to it, dog. That's just how I feel.
Speaking of, I'm glad you guys got to talk and clear your piece up.
So you heard what Steven Jackson had to say right there about Shannon Sharpe, and a lot of people are having mixed reactions. Someone sent this to me, and I hadn't seen the interview, but it's at the very beginning of the interview. It was easy to get to this footage right away. I think Steven Jackson, one of his principles is that nobody is above reproach, or nobody's above having something said about them. And in that, I can respect that. I can respect that. There's no person walking this earth that's above another person, period. So yeah, you can have some money, you can have some things, but if you figured out how not to die and live forever, then you be kind of above everybody else. But other than that, everybody is the same, man. And so I get what Steven Jackson is saying there. What I don't understand is what's the issue between him and Shannon Sharpe. Maybe they've had some private dealings at different times. I know one time he didn't like the way Shannon was going at the Memphis Grizzlies over LeBron James, because he said LeBron ain't gonna fight for you, so why are you up there doing that for him? And I remember that video. This made me think back to that, because I was like, why is he going at him like that? And there's probably some truth in that, but I don't know why he did it or why he chose to do it that day. Nor does he owe us any explanation. I just thought it was interesting. And when Shannon Sharpe started having all these comedians on the show, he was having think pieces about Shannon Sharpe inviting people on who's supposed to be friends with other people and having them talk about each other and stuff like that. Shannon Sharpe is saying, this is my platform, I don't cut guests off. And I think that's one of the reasons Shannon Sharpe is blowing up. He's not cutting guests off. He's allowing them to say what they want to say. And that's what the people want to hear. And it's his own lane, right? If he would have just did it like everybody else, it would have came and went probably, or not even came and went, but it would just be lumped in with a bunch of other podcasts. But as a result of him letting guests talk, his stands out. And I guess Steven Jackson has taken some exception with that. We heard Matt Barnes had something to say about Shannon Sharpe's podcast recently, saying, you have to be careful when you're doing that type of thing, because people are going to have opinions when you start having people on the show talking about them. So, Shannon has hit another level, and Cat words ring true to him now, where he says you're going to be in another stratosphere after this interview. And if you think about it, you can point to that moment where Club Shay Shay was never the same. Now, some of the people that Cat Williams was talking about had previously been on Club Shay Shay, but some of the people hadn't, and they started feeling away. So you started getting attacks from every which way. People from every which way was talking about him. So I don't know, man. Shannon, one thing Chad Ochocinco always says is like, Shannon, you ain't gonna be able to keep turning the other cheek, because we have to set a precedent for this show that you can't talk to us like that. We ain't gonna be putting up with that. And Shannon is like, nah, you gotta pick your battles, man, and all that. So I guess what Shannon is gonna have to accept is, if he's gonna have these volatile interviews, or he's gonna have people with controversial opinions, you're gonna have opinions come from every way. Now, if Steven Jackson has this type of interview and people were coming at him, he doesn't need to expect an apology from these people either. If Shannon can't get an apology from Mike Epps, if somebody say something and test his manhood, he can't demand an apology either by his own logic. Nobody's above getting talked about, right? So just let it be that, let it be that. It's got to be that consistently and across the board, in my opinion, man. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.